The Commander 2020 legendaries have been revealed, and now it is time for Jake and I to rank them. We are going to go through all of the legendaries in the Commander 2020 product, the primary ones and the backups, or secondaries, tertiary ones, however you refer to them, and rank them on our tier list. Jake, you ready to do this?
I'm ready to do it. We have some cards. We have a ranking list that is sanctioned. It's the most important rankings that have ever happened on Earth. You are at the right video. Video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are going to rank the Commander 2020 legendaries on the most accurate, sanctioned, official scale that can't be disputed or argued with. But first, if you like the video, by the end of it, go down there and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
It's the best way to support the channel as we continue to grow.
It is 20 cards that we have. Normally with a Commander product, we would have the primary commanders and then two other secondary commanders also in the colors for these boxed sets. But for this one of the options of commander for the deck is a partner commander. So it actually ended up being two cards that you could run as your commander for that last group. But let's start with the primary ones, the ones that we know and are the front-facing commanders of these sets. First up is Gavi, Nest Warden. We got Jeskai +2. You may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. And whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. For me, and I'll start the analysis off, Jake, you can jump in right here. For me, sure. Gavi is automatically not in S tier because you have to build this legendary so specifically, but for the specific way that this commander wants to be built, it seems very strong.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, man. I'm not super high on cycling. I know that there's good cards that affect cycling. There's a lot of them, but it is very, very niche.
I believe it's Decree of Annihilation. You cycle that, you destroy all lands, something like that. And so you can get effects that are very good for 0. And then when you're drawing cards, you're putting a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token onto the battlefield.
Sure, but the thing is to get the most out of those cats, right, those cat dinosaurs,
right,
you're going to want to have other effects that like buff those, or really like you're really expecting to, I guess, tap your opponent down, get through with a bunch of 2/2s.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really see a big payoff, because what you have to do is you have to build this deck around cycling.
Right.
And then you have to build it around what is the best way that I can get advantage out of these 2/2s.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I just don't really see it. But I wouldn't even put it at A tier. I would put this at at B tier.
Okay.
And I haven't seen these cards until today.
No,
I'm going to be completely candid. I've been doing my own thing. I haven't seen any of the Commander spoilers. I don't know if that's one of them that's going to be at the forefront of a box. I have zero idea
Jake,
about that.
For us, it's a B. It's always going to be, and no one can argue with it. How about that?
That's right. That's fine.
We've got Calamax the Stormsire up next. It is Teamer Colors +1,
okay.
For an elemental dinosaur. Whenever you cast your first instant spell each turn, not only on your turn, if Calamax the Stormsire is tapped, copy that spell. You can choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you copy an instant spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Calamax. So, full disclosure, I did already break down Calamax in a deck talking about him as your commander. Him or her, I'm not sure what gender Calamax is. Talking about Calamax in EDH and how I would build it. So I'm already pretty partial to this card. I really like this card. You do have to find a way to tap Calamax safely, but you're copying spells. Calamax is getting bigger. You can go that route. What do you think when you glance at this one for the first time?
Well, when I glance at it, I say this is squishy, but I know that in the right build, and I'm thinking about cards like Asceticism.
Right.
I'm thinking about cards like Heroic Intervention. I'm thinking about things that are going to give this card hexproof, and I think that in the right build, being able to copy your first instant spell each turn That can be very good if you build it correctly. I don't really know how I would build this, but I do think that there is some potential here. I like the colors a lot. Temur is a strong color combination. It should remind you a little bit of Animar Soul of Elements. Do I think it's S tier? I don't.
Honestly, I'm rolling more towards like C, B, B.5, maybe like right here. What do you think?
Yeah, I like B.5. That it does seem pretty casual to me. When I think about like a very, very competitive EDH deck, I think about like just degenerate stuff like Carador.
Right.
And I don't see that power level on that card.
Jirina Kudro is our next legendary human soldier, Mardu +1. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game, and other humans you control get +2/+0.
Strong.
You like this? Oh my god, it's such like an immediate E for me. You think this is strong because it's got the anthem on there?
Yeah, I like the anthem on there. And whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 for each time you cast your commander from the command zone. So it gets token regeneration. There's a lot of resurgency that I see here.
So, I mean, you're talking about paying... Okay, so let's say you want to create 4 1/1 tokens, because I feel like 4 tokens all coming into the battlefield at the same time is about where it becomes like a very strong effect that you can get some big payoffs from. So for 4 times,
if you run
you're
stuff like
to pay...
Anointed Procession and stuff like that, that's going to get you double tokens and that kind of thing. And if you run other anthem effects, it's just the idea to me is this is a must remove, but I love anything that brings a buddy. That's kind of like the way I feel.
You got to pay 12 mana for her to come with 4 buddies to the battlefield. So for 12, you're getting a 3/3 that makes 4 3/1s.
Yeah,
and I think
that? but here, and I just want to talk about it a little bit more. It kind of reminds me of any kind of spell that I play in limited.
Yeah,
I love any kind of creature that brings another creature with it. So if you've built this deck in such a way where you just go, we're going to play Mardu removal and Mardu anthems, right?
Yeah.
And so everything is just anthems. Even if they kill Jirina, everything that's left behind after Jirina is just like a powerhouse. It's just like this thing that's just like, well, I killed Jirina, she's dead. Did I really want to kill Jirina? Maybe I want to keep Jirina on the battlefield and kill off all of her buddies.
Yeah.
So for me, just like it's a very cheap Mardu General. I'm gonna put it at like A tier, dude, and that's just from my opinion. But I also want to hear like
okay. So you can say A. I'm gonna call it 1 less than whatever you call it. So I'm comfortable, if you're comfortable, at putting Jirina at a B.
Sure, that's fine. I'm gonna settle. I don't think we need to like be like, I want to end the channel over this.
No,
but
absolutely.
I do think
this is a
fight. Do think that I think it's a lot stronger than you maybe think it is, and I'm really excited to see what people think about it, because for me, we need to have had
anthems, individual tier lists going in so that we could absolutely look at them and compare.
And also, I want to say about that card before we move on, I see it as like a 1v1 commander. Like in a 1v1 setting, that card is just going to wreck your opponent. Kind of like Soaring.
For sure. In 1v1, it's much stronger. I was definitely thinking straight, 4-person free-for-all.
Sure.
But I mean,
you
look
never
at the
know.
vampire. The vampire from Tribal Commander format, whenever that came out, the pre-mades, Soren Markov, that card ended up being sick. Now, granted, it was creating free 1/1s that you couldn't stop, but it's coming in with buddies. I can see it rolling at a B.
And also cards like True Conviction that are going to give your creatures double strike and I think
did
lifelink.
Not think we were going to spend this much time on the Mardu Commander. I seriously thought you were going to be like pshaw and move on.
No, I like the converted on it. I like what it does. It's a go wide commander, and it brings a buddy, so I like it.
Here's Kathril, Aspect Warper. It's Abzan +2 for a Nightmare Insect. When it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter counter on any creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. Let me take a deep breath here. Repeat this process for first strike, double strike, death touch, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. Then put a +1/+1 counter on Kathril for each counter put on a creature this way. You get to go first on this one.
Well, it's obviously graveyard centric.
Oh yeah.
I love this color combination. I play Carador Ghost Chieftain, and so I know the power of Abzan or Junk.
Oh yeah.
In Commander, it's a very, very, very powerful color combo. I think that this card is squishy and dies to Tormod's Crypt and Bojuka Bog.
Super squishy, but look at this. The creature itself, I really want to focus on. If I'm looking at this list, I would focus on indestructible, hexproof, and double strike. Maybe
those are the ones. Those are the counters that are going to close it out.
For sure.
If you're going to put the hexproof and the indestructible on whatever your biggest threats are.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's pretty conditional, and I might be completely wrong, but I'm not super excited about the converted mana cost on it. And again, it's one of those cards where you're going to have something like Asceticism,
right,
or Champion's Helm or Lightning Greaves to protect this thing. It's just going to get more expensive. Like, another reason I talk about Carador and I love the card so much is that even if it keeps getting removed, as long as you have creature cards in your graveyard, you're able to keep paying it at a very reasonable cost. This card gets expensive quick, and I just don't know. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think it's a C, and I think as we've gone through, for me, that moves the dinosaur to a C as well, because they're very conditional buildings. It doesn't bring a ton of value without other stuff happening. At the very least, with our dinosaur creator, we're getting free spells and we're getting 2/2s for free if we can draw a second card in a turn. With your Mardu commander, it's automatically going to bring in tokens that you can count on. It's like Prosh in that way. You can build if you know it's going to happen. With these, they're fairly conditional, and you have to build very specific. And while, with the insect, going and buried aliving a Zatalpa and an Oketra is going to give you indestructible counters, double strike counters, flying Vigi, all these things. And for each instances...
I'm sorry, I tried to hold that in.
No, dude, you had to sneeze. For the instances of those words, you're going to get multiple counters. I think we agree on that one being a C. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems fine. That seems fine to me.
I've got Otrimi, the Ever-Playful, here next. We got Sultai +3 for a 6/6 Trampler with a 4-cost mutate that says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with mutate from your graveyard to your hand. Jake, this one's going to be really hard for us to analyze. We'll just say this, because we don't have the full list of all the mutate creatures yet. And so we don't know if there's a lot that are going to be printed that have a ton of value, either in this or in Ikoria, that have a ton of value gameplay-wise to get their abilities over and over again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have to agree. I like the colors. I like Sultai.
Sure.
I love the art on this card. I think the art is really cool. It's a Nightmare Beast. It looks kind of like a Velociraptor that's got like horns.
Yeah, some kind of tricky,
really interesting.
Some kind of tricky Velociraptor.
Yeah, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with mutate from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, until we have more of the mutates, I think we just kind of like put this at mid-tier. There's a lot of very strong commanders that you could be playing in these colors other than this card, and it's not going to be as restrictive to the mutate thing. When you're picking a commander, you really do want to have an ability on that commander that you're able to just use, whether it's an activated ability or just, I don't know. It's just not enough.
No,
it's not enough for me.
If
the mutate cards really end up being super strong, then whenever it deals combat damage, you're getting something out of it. But again, that's combat damage. So it's like combat damage in commander is so difficult in some situations. So I'm not super high on the card.
So with Otrimi, I'm thinking it's got to go down to E, with the caveat that the potential exists for this card to improve in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to put it at E. It hasn't even come out yet. We don't know the full list of cards, but I think that that's appropriate. It's not something that I'm super excited to build at a glance.
So
anyway.
niche. It's so niche.
Yeah, it's just so niche, yeah.
We've got Akim here. This one looks different because this is the MTG Goldfish translation that we have so far. We don't have the official card in English. But
so let's blow it up for now just so we can look at it.
So we've got Akim the Soaring Wind here. Jeskai +2 for a flying bird dinosaur. 3/4, whenever you create one or more tokens for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 bird creature token, and pay 6 with Jeskai included. Creature tokens you control gain double strike until end of turn. I'm not real high on this one for one set of words, and that is one or more tokens first time each turn. Granted, it could get broken if you're able to make 1/1 flying tokens just like however, just a ton all the time. But for me, adding a 1/1 to a deck that should already be creating a lot of tokens just seems like you can get the effect better somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't like the converted on it. I don't like the amount of mana it costs to give the creature tokens double strike until end of turn.
Right.
And create a 1/1. It's not like the Mardu commander that we just talked about. The reason the Mardu commander is good is because that Mardu commander...
You are so pissed I tried to put that at D.
No, I'm just saying, like, the Mardu commander is bringing a dude with it no matter what, pretty much.
Right.
The first time it comes out, it doesn't bring a dude. Is that correct?
No, it
brings one.
It brings one. It's all pixelated now, but yeah, it would bring one.
Okay, so yeah, anyway, we could keep going. I think F is fine on that card. It is blue, so let's put it at E.
Okay. All right, we can do that.
If it were bad and it didn't even have blue in it,
You've got such a bleeding
most of the
heart
time
for
you
these...
can make stuff really good.
You've got such a bleeding heart for these bad commander cards.
Well, I want to give them a chance, I want them to have a chance.
No, dude. Big wrong or big correct. We've got Cyrus the Writhing Storm here. Teamer 2, Snake Leviathan. Flying 3/5. I don't know how the Leviathan is a 3 power, but the art is dope. Yep. Whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, create a 1/1 green snake, and whenever it deals combat damage, you and that player each draw that many cards. So it's got a little bit of a politics thing built into it. It's I'm going to swing on through to the other side. Jake, you want to draw 3 cards? And you're like, yeah, dude, swing on through. Swing low, sweet Leviathan.
Yeah, it's a good politics card. I think for the ability, the converted mana cost is good. This is a card that loves to hang out with Simic Sky Swallower.
Yeah.
And what is Hydroid Krasis?
I love that the first ability doesn't... It lets you create a 1/1 on every drawn card as long as it's not the first card they draw.
This is going to get out of hand really quick, the number of snakes that you're going to have access to, because anybody that plays EDH knows the power of velocity. So if you're building this in the right situation, you just get this on the battlefield. I know we've talked about this card again, but asceticism, anything that's going to give Cyrus... Is that how we're pronouncing this?
Cyrus. Yeah,
Cyrus. Sure. Whatever's going to give this hexproof indestructible some sort of way to protect it, and then you could just sit there and profit off of snakes. You build something like Doubling Season into this, or any kind of token effects that are going to get you more tokens.
Plus, you're going to get snake triggers on the attack damage that gets through. So it's like, I'll give you 3 cards, but I'm also going to get 3 cards, and I'm going to get 3 1/1s.
Yes. I mean, this is really strong. Yeah. I think that this is really good. I think that it's interesting. It's something where you're getting passive 1/1s, something that's going to fill up your board just simply from your opponent drawing more cards than they should each turn. Yeah, I think A tier. I think A tier works.
I'm thinking A for Cyrus. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Perfect. We got Kelsien the Plague up next. It's Mardu for a 2/2 Vigi Haster, and when it it gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have, and you can tap it to deal 1 to target creature you don't control. When that creature dies this turn, you get an experience counter. This creature wants Death Touch so bad.
Yeah, Basilisk Collar comes to mind.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
but you get Death Touch on this assassin, and you are murdering the entire board, and Kelsien's getting big.
Yeah. It's good. Vigi, haste, definitely legendary. Love the art. It's just it really does kind of remind me a little bit of Monster Hunter. Just because this is one of like the powerful humans in Ikoria. This Kelsien has clearly figured out how to survive in Ikoria. I think the card is really cool. I like the cheap converted mana cost, and yeah, it gets +1/+1 for each experience.
Yeah, the art plus the abilities plus the colors really does it for me for Kelsien. I can see this becoming a personal commander of mine that I would build in paper, just because of how fun it looks, but I'll definitely be experimenting with it on the channel.
The thing is it hits X1s and it loves to shoot X1s,
yeah,
but it is restrictive because if you don't have Death Touch on it,
right,
it's not going to get lot.
See, yeah, exactly. It needs one other card, but when you compare it to things like Dino and Bug needs a card to get stuff into your graveyard and good stuff to put into your graveyard. So you need like 2 cards to help that one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just not in a box. I feel like this is as good as the Mardu Commander that brings in Peeps with it, and maybe better. I think it's better than the Cycling Commander.
Yeah, I would put it at B or C tier in my own personal opinion, just because I don't like how difficult it is using the card at face value to get the experience counters online. Because unless you want it to just sit there as a 2/2 that can ping for 1, that just doesn't seem impactful enough to me. So there has to be a way where you can make sure that the creatures that you're hitting with its ability die. Mm-hmm. If you can't get that thing Death Touch, it's going to be very mediocre.
You have to, Exactly. That's pretty much the game plan.
You started it by saying this creature really wants Death Touch
so much.
Yeah, I agree. If it doesn't have Death Touch, it is going to be not impactful on the battlefield.
Yeah, so I think we can agree on B on that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tayam, Luminous Enigma. We've got Abzan 1 for a Nightmare Beast, 3/3. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional Vigilance counter on it, so everything's going to enter with permanent Vigilance on your side once you get Tayam on the battlefield. Pay 3, remove 3 counters from among creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's cool, but it feels so boring to me. I'm just not interested in playing a card like this at all as my commander.
Yeah, each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional Vigilance counter on it. So
everything's going to be pushing through Vigi. Maybe run it like a Death Touch strategy and run a bunch of Death Touch stuff or lifelink stuff, maybe. I mean, you're removing Vigilance from creatures, minimum. Obviously, you can do other counters. You can run some Gav, Guru of Spores type effects and really be moving +1/+1 counters all around and getting payoffs and stuff. But remove 3 counters from the creatures you control, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a permanent card. So it doesn't have to be creatures with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, so you can get back.
I mean, think about it with something like Eternal Witness, because if you're returning Eternal Witness comes back. You don't even have to pay mana for it, but you paid the 3. So I mean, you are paying 3 to do this series of effects, and then you get back a creature after that. You play Eternal Witness, it returns something big like Elish Norn or Sheoldred. Big, powerful EDH card from the yard that might have gotten milled with the first ability, and you can sink mana into this. So I think
it feels like you've got a lot of longevity in the build of this, but with this commander in and of itself, I don't see your route to victory other than I lasted everybody out and kept returning my stuff. I think that it's got the same drawbacks as the insect that you said, like with a graveyard, any kind of graveyard wipe, a lot of the velocity and a lot of the value that you're getting is lost from this creature, and then you're just running like a bad Abzan counters deck. So I feel like I would put it at D, because it's just it's better than, you know, the bird that makes 1/1s, but it's not as good as the insect, and it's doing similar stuff.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough to analyze. I'll defer to your judgment on this one. I think we can agree on D. It's okay. It's good, not great.
It's good, not great.
It's all right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about the dragon. You know, somebody's got to be down at the bottom of the list. Zaxara, the Exemplary. Here's our Sultai secondary one. We got Sultai 1 for a Nightmare Hydra 2/3. Death Touch. Tap to add 2 mana of any one color, so it's a mana dork in and of itself. And whenever
and a removal spell if you need it.
Yep. Yeah. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 green Hydra creature token, then put X +1/+1 counters on it. So, the top 2 lines, you're like, Death Touch. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a mana dork that can add 2 mana. Oh, okay, I like that. And then you have to build X spells into this to make it worth your time.
Yeah, it's forced. It's forced into X spells, dude. I don't like that. That's not enough.
So for players that want to play
like
X-Spell Tribal, this is going to be super dope, and it's awesome that they've got the commander for them now. So I think that bumps it up from an F, straight up F for me. But do I think that it is a very, very narrow line to victory that is not going to be built a ton? Yes. I think
it's really cool looking. I love the art. I wish it were better. But maybe we're wrong, because when you think about cards like
but these are our initial
tomorrow
rankings
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it might have some applications, but you will have to build a very specific large amount of your deck to fit the X cost strategy if you want to get the most out of this.
Right.
It is really cool that you're getting profit from playing X spells, but it's tough.
I'm falling at least on D here. Do you think this one rolls
let's call
all
it
the
a
way
D.
to E?
That's fine.
I think it gets some points because it's a very specific build around that hasn't had reputation or hasn't had representation, and so X spells matter. Sure, I can get on board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wish it had red so we could get some earthquakes going. We've got Trynn up next. We are now into the partner commanders. Okay, so we've got Trynn, Champion of Freedom, and Silvar, Devourer of the Free. Let's start with Trynn, 1 white, 3 other, for a human soldier 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked this turn, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. As the partner with Trynn, we've got Silvar, Devourer of the Free. Rakdos +3 for a legendary creature Cat Nightmare 4/2 with Menace that says sack a human, put a +1/+1 counter on Silvar. It gains indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I love that Menace. If it didn't have Menace, it would just be god awful. But
it would be fine, yeah, for sure.
But no, I do like it. So explain partner for the people who don't understand what partner is.
When the creature enters the battlefield, you can put Silvar into your hand from your library if Silvar's in your library, but you can also run these as paired commanders as the commander of your deck is what I'm trying to say. So you would have 2 creatures for your partnered commanders instead of just 1 commander for your deck. So you would have 2 commanders and 98 instead of 1 commander 99.
It's cool. I like the Cat Nightmare. I don't know if I would be playing something like this. it's just not something that appeals to me very much.
I think Silvar is a little expensive. Obviously, they want you to curve turn 4 Trynn into turn 5 Silvar. You would have needed a 1, 2, or 3 drop that created a creature so that on the turn you play Trynn, you can attack and then start that engine rolling. If I feel like the thing that's missing from this partner combo is something that wouldn't be in these color combinations, definitely, is draw card. If we were drawing a card when we sacked humans with Silvar, something like that, that might actually get into 2 broken, but you can bump the CMC up to 6 or 7 at that point. I feel like something like that is what I'm missing here, and I wish Silvar maybe had haste menace or like menace death touch. Something like that that really puts Silvar firmly into this is your win con strategy. Make sure that you've got humans, because in a pinch you can sack Trynn, and that's a human that can give Silvar +1/+1 counter. It does get points for being counters and not until end of turn, but that indestructible is what's going to keep it around, and that menace is going to keep it punching.
The 1/1 white human soldier, you only get that if you attack this turn.
Right.
So if you're not attacking, you're not getting the 1/1, and then you have to sacrifice Trynn to Silvar in order to get that 1/1. I do like that Silvar is able to sacrifice the human at instant speed. It doesn't require any kind of tap effect.
Right, exactly.
So if you have a lot of humans on the board, you can keep Silvar there and you can get him really big really quick. And that's something to think about, but
I think
would
for
put
me,
them at like B or C. Dude.
Yeah, I would put them at C. I think we are just that one little thing else away. Maybe it's another keyword on the finisher cat. Maybe it's, another ability on her from really being all the way into B or A tier.
Yeah.
But I think C is
yeah,
doable.
I think
What do you think?
that's a fair choice. Yeah.
Let's look at Halden, Avid Arcanist, and Halden, Avid Arcanist's partner. It's a dog. It's kind of cute. So we've got Halden, Avid Arcanist is a 1 blue, 2 other legendary human wizard partner with the Paco. You may play non-creature cards from exile with fetch counters on them if you exile them, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Paco, on the other hand...
First thing, really quick, I just want to say this.
Yeah.
I just feel like Halden, what did he do? Did he make his clothes out of another elemental hound that looks just like Paco? Because I feel so bad for what other elemental hound was in Paco's litter.
Don't fail me, Paco, or you'll be like Kibnut that I turned into armor.
I mean, look at it's literally Paco's skin that Halden is wearing. Like, this is so concerning to me.
Let's talk about Paco. It's Gruul +3, partners with Halden's got haste. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library and put a fetch counter on each of them. Put a +1/+1 counter on Paco for each non-creature card exiled this way. Jake, I can't tell you how much I don't like these two.
I don't like the art. I mean... I'm not
this
hating on the ability.
Really
I'm not hating on the ability
am.
to draw elemental hounds and human wizards. I think that the art looks amazing, but I cannot help but think that Halden is wearing the skin of whatever elemental hound Paco is.
I don't.
That's it.
I think
That's all I gotta say.
I think it's too random. I think you're not building around a strategy. I think that it's a fun, haha, I'm playing the dog and his master. But for the simple fact that I think they're awful and Jake is going to have nightmares about the damn armor, these are our Fs. We have found our Fs.
I love the colors, and I think the hound is beautiful.
Stop making excuses. They're awful.
Right.
Nacara Lair Scavenger is up next alongside its partner Yannik, Scavenging Sentinel. Okay, so this one just is... It looks so dope to me. 1 black, 2 other, for a human cleric 2/2 with menace. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, so 1 or more counters of any type, you draw a card and you lose a life. Alongside it, we've got Yannik, Scavenging Sentinel. It is Selesnya +2 For a hyena beast with vigilance 3/3, whenever it enters the battlefield, exile another creature you control until it leaves the battlefield. When you do, distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures where X is the exiled creature's power. I love these two.
Yeah, I really like the art on these. I think that the abilities are pretty good, in my opinion.
So you exile, so Yannik comes in, exiles a creature that has an ETB. When you do, you distribute, your other creatures get bigger. Okay. Yeah. Based on its power. Nacara protects those creatures that are on the battlefield with +1/+1 counters with cantrip, and you do have to pay a life because the ability is very good. And then you've also got, Jake, you've got board wipe protection built into this because Yannik has exiled a creature until Yannik leaves. So you're protected from a board wipe. You could even play it. You're in black, white, and green. You could even play board wipes yourself. Exile something like Terastodon with Yannik. Spread out a ton of +1/+1 power. And when Yannik finally leaves, being a huge Vigi creature, hopefully at this point, Terastodon comes back in. You've got your 9/9. You're destroying more permanents. I think that the potential...
No, I think that they're good. I do think that... okay, so the way that this works is your main commander is going to be either Nacara or Yannik, right? And then the other one exists in a separate space, or are they both in the command zone together?
Yes, they both exist in their own command zone and can be recast multiple times. I think that they synergize with each other well. I think that...
Yeah, the synergy between the two cards as well. It's mana efficient. One is 3 cost, one is 4 cost. So
there's
if you
a strategy to victory.
Battlefield, it's 7 mana.
Right, you're attacking with creatures as your win con here. You've got that kind of built in. You just need to really support these two. Yeah, I mean these are A's for me.
I would say without each other, it's tough.
Absolutely not. You wouldn't build. I'm considering these partners as a unit for the purposes of these tier ranking systems, because you're absolutely right. I mean, I know that we made the dog and the master an F for multiple reasons, but if you look at that master, it lets you exile cards, it lets you play cards that have fetch counters on them. He's utterly a useless creature without the dog. So I feel like the partners have to be analyzed together.
Yeah.
Let's move here into Kassir, Ruthless Stalker, and Okemah, Stalking Shadow. Hang on, let me pop these up to the top here. We have got a 1 green, 3 other human warrior. 3/3 partners with the Whale Wolf. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Not bad. Okemah, Stalking Shadow. We've got black, blue, 1 other for a can't be blocked 2/2 Whale Wolf. When it leaves the battlefield, it deals X damage to target player and you gain X life, where X is its power. So you've got this unblockable creature getting through to trigger Kassir's ability that creatures get a +1/+1 counter whenever they deal damage.
I think of the partners, this is the best one.
You're into
that
it.
I've seen.
Yep, the colors are fantastic.
Yeah, Sultai is very strong. They're both mana efficient. I like that it simply says can't be blocked on Okemah, which is really important. And I really like the fact that the more times Okemah dies and the more life that it can drain from the opponent is really, really strong. And just that passive counter from dealing combat damage. You build this into a unblockables matter kind of thing with Jesse and Infiltrator. And
then some turn away effects like the Ajani card that it gives everything hexproof, or a blue card that gives your creature hexproof.
I mean, Invisible Stalker loves this general as well.
Absolutely.
Like there's tons and tons of cards that are going to benefit from that 1/1 counter, but just having Okemah as like the backup if you don't have one and Okemah isn't on the battlefield, you can cast it to get another unblockable back on the battlefield. I think that these are the best ones that we've seen today. Do I think that this is an S tier type commander? No, I don't.
No, but of this group, I think that it's S tier for sure. You just are you're comparing to overall, right?
I'm just comparing to overall commanders that I would think about, and I think if a commander is going to get an S ranking, it has to be able to go up against other commanders.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just don't. I wouldn't rank that this as S. I would put it as an A.
Okay, strong A. It is for Okemah and Kassars.
I don't even know if we'll get an S. I just haven't seen anything that looks like an S to me yet.
We shall see. We've got 2 strong A's with the partners. I really love the colors on those. You know, that really helps propel those cards into the A tier ranking. We have got our last partners here. And get ready for the eye rolls, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Brallin, Sky Shark, Raider, and Shabraz, the Sky Shark. Okay, Jeskai colors on these. On Brallin, we've got 1 red, 3 other for a legendary human shaman 3/3. Whenever you discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Brallin, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Pay 1 red, target shark gains trample until end of turn. On the other side over here, we've got an Azorius wildly shark bird. Shabraz, the spectacular sky shark. For 1 blue, 1 white, 3 other. A shark bird that partners with Brallin. It's got flying. Whenever you draw a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on Shabraz, and you gain 1 life. And you can pay a hybrid blue-white. Target human gains flying until end of turn.
Oh, God.
What is this? What did y'all do?
Like, there's
what did y'all
I just
do?
don't even see the synergy. Where is the...
No.
I see the shark that gains trample. I don't see
the thing
anything about
is
drawing a card. So this is supposed to be built around stuff like Tormenting Voice, Cathartic Reunion, Thrill of Possibility, Chart a Course.
Yeah. So
Anything-
in theory, this is your favorite commander that's ever existed.
I don't think it is. I just don't. I love the shark bird kind of thing. I don't know how the shark is alive not being in water. Apparently it's evolved over time. And
It's got more bird when it comes to lungs and breathing. And the shark is really just, I guess, the weight. No, the weight wouldn't work. You got to be as light as a bird. The power, the bite. It doesn't make sense.
It is the exact opposite colors that I would expect from something so nightmarish.
Yeah, very nightmarish. It's like it doesn't even have any green in it. I don't know. I don't really know how the new Ikoria lands fall out.
I just would think like blue-red maybe, or blue-black would be something scary like this, but it's like the most altruistic evil, like, or not, I shouldn't say evil, it's the most altruistic shark bird that the Azorius have ever encountered.
Right, but really has a passion
know.
for the laws, you know?
Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Shabraz,
Look,
and you gain a life, human gains flying. It's just a lot of...
I think because
you've
got to have other stuff to make this really pop off and get full value out of it, that is automatically lowering it in my mind.
And granted, that's part of Commander, is you have to have payoffs, but I just don't really see the synergy between these two cards at a glance.
Yeah, I have to be with you on that one. But I think that the comedy aspect of your Sharkbird Commander bumps it up from an E. What do you think? Are you comfortable with a D on our Sharkbird?
Sure, D seems great. D for doing it all right.
D for doing it all right. Those are our tier rankings. We will make this picture available on our Twitter, on our Patreon, so that you can quote tweet it and yell at us over our picks. We want to know from y'all, which ones did we get wrong? What do we need to be considering the S tier commander in Commander 2020? We know that we didn't classify one as S, but we think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I really needed to see something super exceptional. If there's something we missed, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear about which one you think is amazing that we got wrong and why. But other than that, until next time, I'm tapped out.
We'll catch you later.